Hello and welcome to a Squonker Dev Log. It's an on-again, off-again project, but I figure I might as well have some actual log of development, unlike last time, or last times. So most of the work in this version has been on the player controller, getting that to feel right, and on the weapon system, getting that to feel right as well. So the player controller is based on Half-Life movement. You have sprinting, which isn't in Half-Life, but you have running, walking, jumping, and then of course crouch jumping, which I think I've gotten pretty close to being on par with Half-Life. You also have something you don't have in Half-Life, at least not to the same degree. I think they might have changed the physics. I'd have to check the code, but you have the good old Quake bee-hopping, which is physics you've had since the first sort of versions of the Squonker character. But the main focus of today's video is on the weapons. So I've implemented a fair amount of weapons so far, mostly just trying to see how the weapon system scales to many weapons, and I think it scales pretty fine. I've had to model and animate these weapons by hand, and they don't have they don't have hands in the view model because I can't model them right now. But I will set aside a time at some point and actually learn how to do that. So we have the first weapon here, a Glock. It's pretty standard. Controls are loosely based on the Half-Life Glock. So you can press and hold right click to fire slightly faster. Or you can left click to shoot once. You can reload the gun. And there is actual ammo, so once you run out of ammo, yeah, there's I think for the Glock, I think the Glock alone right now, there's an alternate funny weapon, quote unquote, funny animation that will play sometimes in the place of regular animations, such as this one for the dry fire. It's playing quite a lot now. Yeah, there you go. It's I think it's a 1 in 5 chance. And there's also a funny reload animation. I wonder if it will get that to trigger. There we go. The other weapons is the Diamond Paxel, which sort of loosely skirts around the limitations I have for weapons, because they need to come from games, or they need to be somehow meaningful to a game. Squonker isn't just about copying games, but parodying them, and so if a game would be funnier with a parody weapon, then so be it. The Paxel is probably going to come as some form of comedic thing, but I can always change it to be a pickaxe or some other actual Minecraft weapon. So the Paxel is a melee weapon. It doesn't create any bullet holes. Oh yes, you can spray with the player controller. I feel I should mention that. That'll be like a collectible thing. You can go and collect different pictures of the characters. This is the game's wizard. But the Diamond Paxel is a melee weapon, which, it's fine. But it's a bit boring, so I added another feature to it, which sort of sparked a whole range of ideas, just the very nature of having it. The alt click, or alt fire, starts building Minecraft blocks. And so this has sparked an idea that weapons will at some point be used for some form of puzzle. Like, I can imagine some puzzle where you need to use this to bridge over, or hold a button down, or something. Of course, you can mine it. You might notice in the corner there is actually a count. You only have a limited number of these. I'm not sure what that flashing is when I break them. It seems related to the particle system. I am using an a beta version of Godot 4, because it's not quite out yet, but so been very nice to develop with, so I think that's just the particle system being a bit weird. You can place blocks and break them to get them back. Slight limitation is when you shoot them, you don't get them back. And so the reload of this weapon is a temporary workaround, because I will have an actual ammo management system. Is when you hit reload, it breaks all the blocks and just sets your stack to max, no matter what. The other weapon I have is the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch, which stretches slightly, but it's in many games. It's a Monty Python reference, of course, but it's in many games. Terraria, Worms 3D, countless others that I can't remember the time. And it is a grenade. So you can weak throw it, or you can strong throw it. And this was quite a joy to get working with the good old physics system, because they're using their own solution, which is prone to its own quirks and flaws. And something I had to do was, the physics system's currently running at twice the speed of regular, just so it doesn't fall through the floor. And that's all cool and all. Earlier, before I fiddled around with collisions, you could shoot and collect coins. I still need to put that back, but that'll be something you can maybe do. So you'd be able to like mine them as well. And you weren't able to blow them up, but I think that would be pretty cool as well. I hand modeled all of these, animated them. And then this weapon is a bit more in debt, or in development than the others. You can see that the model isn't completed, and that's because it's very hard to model a Nerf gun. So my idea for the Nerf gun is that it's sort of like the Glock, but weaker in a way. So if you notice, I can't fire it because I need to pull the tab. And then there we go, it's pulled, and then I can fire. Of course, I need to do that for every shot I want to fire. It's still in development, but at some point, you're going to have actual projectiles come out that you'll have to go back and pick up as ammo to then load and fire. But that's just some ideas I had today, and so it's very in-depth. The other weapons were completed in about a day. One day, yesterday. I got all their logic working and stuff, except for the Glock. I think that was a 2-day project, because most of it was the second day. It's just the first part was sort of getting the weapon system up and running, and I was able to write these weapons. And yeah, that's all I really have to show. This has ran on a lot longer than I was expecting it to for 4 weapons, but that's an introduction to what I've been doing for the latest version of Squonker. Squonker, a Shunkful Adventure. It probably won't get any further than usual Squonker.